so this, that doesn't sound like it's going, but maybe. Anyway, like I said, it's a huge topic, but we really aren't seeing every month just what, how the venues are doing. All we hear is revenues, we never hear about expenses. So I think, what's profit? Is profit giving subsidies? I don't think so. If we're pumping in all this money into the capital expenses, that's not profit. We're paying for those businesses. Thank you.
Okay. I wanted to drop this off for these guys up here if anyone needs it. It's quite hot in here.
Can you put some vodka in there?
Who says there is?
Kevin, I like the way you think. I like the way you dress as well.
Anyone who goes to our Friday meetings know I'm good at drinks and pastries and stuff, so no doubt. Howard.
Thank you, Kevin, for getting everyone hydrated. All right, as we move on to question number 3. Do you feel that our $830 annual recreation fee is reasonable? Why or why not?
I think the fee needs to be based exactly what we need to cover it. And the way I personally look at this is that I don't mind paying the fee because I'm looking at things fine with having the golf courses, the private beaches, the ski resort only adds value to my property.
And as a reminder, please announce your name when you start talking to. Yeah, no worries.
Frank Wright. The recreation fee is an unknown tax or a fee. When IVGID needs to identify it, they call it a standby service charge. If you understand what a standby service charge is, it delivers something to your property of value, and it's for sewers and water. But then when they want to call it a fee, when people start asking them about, well, is it a tax or is it a fee, they call it a fee because then they will get hit with the state coming after them for having an illegal tax. We don't know what it is, and no one's identified that. But it will be identified in the future, I guarantee. Now, is it worth the $830 to me? No. I pay $830, and what I get from that recreation fee is I get to take a guest to the golf courses and pay down their fees. That's all I get. That's all I get. Nothing else. And I find out that my rec fee is used to subsidize conferences, consultants, things that have nothing to do with my recreation. And then I find out that I built a building that's been paid for. And that building now is still collecting our recreation fee to pay for something in the future that we haven't decided on as a community. You had no voice in it. Smoothing, repurposing, Jerry Iking is what I call it. Thank you.
Paul Longshore. I think the reg fee is not bad at all, as long as it's used properly. I mean, we live in a community that has amazing amenities. We just need to make sure that those amenities are used for the community. There needs to be a more community organization, I guess. Things that we could do as a community, bring it back. I remember when I first moved up here, we used to do things at the rec center. The Toys and Tots were down there. I mean, we did a lot of stuff as a community to help other programs in the community. So I think the rec fee is reasonably priced if you think of it as the amenities we have as a country club. I mean, if you go to other country clubs around, you pay thousands of dollars a month to be part of that country club. As long as we can establish that the community gets to use those facilities because we are paying for them, as long as we're first and foremost and we don't overcrowd them with guests and tourists or whatnot, and just use it to the best of our abilities, I think that rec fee is not a problem.
Bill Duran. Whether it's reasonable or not is a very subjective term to each individual. Personally, I think it's reasonable. People, for the most part, people I talk to in the community believe it is reasonable. That it does, we are providing our community amenities that they like and enjoy. So we need to make sure that we use those funds appropriately. We measure what we produce. We have financial responsibility in how we provide those services. But yes, I think it's a reasonable thing. I think most of the people I talk to think it's a reasonable fee.
Peter Morris. I think that the fee is reasonable. I think $730 for our rec fee and $100 for our beach access is really very, very good value, quite frankly. If you look at any of the other paid beaches around the lake, the price you have to pay to go onto them, you're not going to get very much change. And I don't believe any of those beaches have a fabulous swimming pool, for example, great beaches, and some exclusivity. When we work on Ordinance 7, that would certainly improve. So I think it's pretty good. I think we have to maintain it, we have to watch it, we have to look to see whether there's costs that we can cut before we ever seek to increase it. I think when it's often compared to other places around the lake and further afield, Donna comes up sometimes, their fees are significantly higher than what we pay here, and yet I would argue that our facilities are absolutely world class. I think we know there's a rec fee when we buy into this community, so there's no surprises. We know what it covers, and it covers an inordinate amount. Whether we choose to use them or not, that's a personal decision. But we can't say that our entire cost is that one item. So I think it's pretty good. We have to continue to watch it, and I think that we will.
Matthew Jane, the $830 rec fee, is it reasonable? Perhaps. But how do we really know until we dig down and get to a zero-based budget and see exactly what it takes to finance the community services that this community is requesting? Thank you.
I agree with Matt, even though he's wearing a suit and tie. I don't mind paying the, I'm sorry? Thank you. You sound like Jewish parents. Anyway, I don't think it's very expensive. I knew what I was getting into when I purchased a home here. I've been a multiple homeowner and have rental property. I'm happy to pay the rec fee. I would like to see more added value with our rec fee. I think there are certain things we can do in terms of Ordinance 7. We had community forums and some great suggestions, but we still haven't really adopted very much, and we don't know where we stand. I'd like to see preferred parking for homeowners and residents. That would be a start. I'd like to see more freebies if we can add on. Again, with Diamond Peak making as much money as we did, I think that getting something back from Diamond Peak would be prudent, and I think the community deserves that. We have so many people who own homes here who actually don't live here, who don't use any of our facilities. So I'd like to see more added value. Thank you.
Stephen Thomason. Kind of hard almost going toward the end of every single question here because you hear so many different answers, and I can definitely agree with quite a few you've already heard. I really don't see a massive problem whatsoever with the rec fee the way it is. Again, like I told you earlier, my wife and I and our children and friends of ours that are property owners here in town that have children as well, we use the facilities that our town offers to all of us that own property here continuously. I am in, like I said, most of these locations between 5 and 7 days a week before I end up having to go to work some of those nights. And I without seeing truly where all of that funding really goes after it's paid in, with some sort of an internal audit, it's gonna make it kind of tough, I think, to truly answer whether or not the fee is truly unreasonable or if it is really reasonable. I, as of right now, don't have a problem with it until we can look in deeper the financials on what everything is going. with IVGID right now with the budget. Thank you very much.
Judy Miller. Is the 830 reasonable? I think that the crux of the matter is that we don't know. As Matt said, we may or may not be getting a great deal, but when our finances are so obscure and we don't see where the money's going, we don't know all of the expenses. We have something called central services, which we know is no accurate indication of what it costs to actually provide things like IT support or many of the other costs that should, in a real business, get distributed out to each business unit. So we don't know what our venues are costing us. It's a big question mark. But we do hear about places like Gunstock Mountain. When I was on the Diamond Peak Master Plan Steering Committee, we learned about Gunstock Mountain. Gunstock Mountain doesn't receive any public support. It's totally relying on the fees that it gets from the people that come to use that mountain. In fact, it actually contributes back to the county where it's located. So many of our venues, I think we expected them to pay for themselves way back 40, 50 years ago. We didn't think that we would have to be continuously subsidizing them. I think we need to take a look. Time is up. Thank you.
Steve King. At the moment, I do agree with the rec fee, but I do agree with Matthew Jack there. As a business owner, you always gotta look from the ground up on your budget. So, I mean, most people like to save money, and if we can lower the fees, I think that would actually make the whole town happy. But we can't do that if we don't know what the real budget is. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to our question 4. Are you running a protest campaign? If so, what exactly are you unhappy with? And what specifically are you going to do to change your perceived problem?
Great question. Great. Am I running a protest campaign? Yes. Am I protesting the things that are taking place in our community? Yes. Do I have problems with the things that are taking place in the community? Yes. Is our recreation fee fair? No. Am I mad about the recreation fee? Yes. Do people who are single-family residents who have a lesser than job that doesn't pay that much money, are they happy with paying the rec fee? Probably not. It's probably as much as their property taxes. If they have a small condo, yeah. For some people in here who are well off, it's no big deal. But we're not looking at those people who are well off, we're looking at the community as a whole. And what is the benefit of having the recreation fee? What is coming out of that recreation fee that benefits the people who live here? And I can tell you right now, debts, and more debts. $8 million to $10 million a year we lose here. You advertise that over a period of 10 years. You're looking at 80 to